I found out the reason why my stepdad always seems sad and distant. I, 14F, found out I'm my dad's 38M affair baby when my mom, 38F, started seeing my dad. She didn't know that he was in a relationship. When she found out she broke it off, but then she ended up getting pregnant with me. She kept me and has been a great mom ever since. My dad had been a good dad too. I stay at his house every other week and sometimes get to spend the holidays with. Every time I visit my dad's house, I notice my stepdad, 36M, always seems very sad and tries to keep his distance. I want to make it clear my stepdad has never been rude or disrespectful towards me. Whenever my dad is at work he always takes care of me and makes sure I'm okay. I always see him put on a smile whenever I'm around but puts it away whenever he thinks I'm not looking, like he doesn't want me to see. My dad always tries to be affectionate towards my stepdad, trying to give him a kiss or hug, but he always tries to reject as politely as possible or acts like he needs to go do something. When my dad gets home from work he just makes me and dad our dinner and then locks himself in the bedroom for the rest of the night. It's always been like this. A couple days ago I asked my mom if my stepdad didn't like me because of the way he acts, and that's when she told me the truth. After finding out this information I started to feel guilty. Am I the reason for his unhappiness? My stepdad seems like such a kind person and I don't want to be the reason he's hurting. I'm staying with my dad next week and I want to talk to him about this, as well as my stepdad. I just don't know what to say to them. I am starting to actually hate my husband. First off, my husband, 31M, and I, 30F are in a bad place and he decides to volunteer himself to give car rides and invite some random work friend to a gathering all of a sudden. My husband and I have been together for 10 and married for 6 years. He is a major in the Air Force and has told me that he has no desire or motivation to work on our marriage. I've had this feeling for a while, but he's now admitting to me that he doesn't care to consider my feelings with the choices he decides to make, and is unaffected with how it makes me feel. He doesn't care and only cares about himself and what others think of him. We are in counseling and he's even told the counselor this. She asks him if he could, but he's told her what he's told me. He has no desire to change, or make himself better, but the last session she gave us homework to set goals for ourselves and actually put in the effort. He said that he would try and I was committed to trying as well. Now fast forward to this week. He texted me from work asking if he can invite someone to my friend's game night we're going to, which was tonight. We also live in Korea and have 2 years left to go. I said who, and he replied with a woman's name I've never heard him mention before. I didn't ask any questions and just did what he asked. Now today he's told me, yeah, her car broke down so I gave her a ride back home, and will give her rides to work until her car is fixed. Okay, I'm thinking, who is this woman and why for the last 2 days are you so invested in her car troubles and inviting her to game nights with our friends? He's never done anything like this before, so why now, and why her? I asked if she asked him for rides and he said he offered. I meet her, she was fine, but he almost pushed me out the way to get to my friend's door when he heard knocking. The night was okay after that, minus a couple minor things like him going out of his way to reach on the long opposite side of the table where she was to discard a card he could have discarded next to him. I confronted him that it was very strange of him to do all of this so sudden, especially since he's the type that doesn't like to make friends and mingle after work. He's told me that he doesn't give a fuck about her, but to me it's just odd. At this point I'm at a loss. I don't have a lot of money because we've moved 5 times in the 6 years we've been married, so coming by a job is difficult. I wish I had my own money so I could get out. I am so annoyed. A job says I'm using a fake ID and SSN when I'm not, just because my SSN wouldn't go through as I had it locked. BC, it was stolen. Now they say they need a house payment and car letter. I have neither. I don't have a license yet, so no proof of car payment, and I still live at home RN, so no proof of house payment. They made me give them my ID. I'm going on a trip soon. I kinda need it back to show TSA at the airport, and still have my SSN, which is real. This is a retail job in a mall. What do I do? Is this normal? Yes, I'm American and was born in US. They say this is precaution in case they have to turn a felon into the police. WTF? I was told I was starting today, then they took my shit and scanned ID and refusing to give back. My widowed, 71-year-old mother owes more on her house now than when she and my father purchased it in 1986. My father died in 2011, after a 5-year fight against kidney failure. That fight drained their savings, and he had to take out a second mortgage on their house. They bought it for $42,000 in 1986. It is the house I was raised in. Now, some 37 years later, my mother owes $68,000 on it. I know this, because I do her taxes for her every year. According to Zillow, the house is worth $90,000, but that assumes that it's in good condition, which it is not. My mother has been unable to do any maintenance on it since my father passed, and it's starting to show. I live too far away to help her with anything like that. Eventually, she will move in with me, and just walk away from the mortgage. It will not be worth the money to fix it up to get it sold. She's the only one on the deed now. When she moves in with me, they won't be able to come after her for anything. And she'll only move in with me when she knows she doesn't have long to live anyway. She likes her independent lifestyle and won't give it up until she has no choice. Selling the house will be the bank's problem then. Almost 4 decades of making payments on a house that she owns, and I will inherit absolutely nothing from it when it's finally sold to someone else. It's not even the lack of inheritance that bothers me. I don't need it. It's just the sadness of it all that bothers me. The unfairness of it all. A false rope accusation has ruined my life. Freshman in college. Dated a girl around 3 months ago. I cared about her more than anything and truly thought the world of her. We spent every moment of every day together until we had a large argument of her still begging for her ex-boyfriend to come back. The relationship was promptly ended that night. The next morning I woke up, I had a text from her insisting I had roped her every time we had the deed. I drove home distraught and attempting to calm myself of the situation, and by the time I came back it had been announced by my family that I needed to return immediately due to them being called by my school. I was petrified. I texted every friend I had, to no avail and no response. I lived in solidarity and complete loneliness, and I was completely outcasted by a group of friends I had known since elementary school. No one has ever believed me, no one has ever looked at my evidence, no one has ever listened to me or attempted to hear my side of the allegation. All of my secrets I've told her, she's told my friends. She still posts about me on her Instagram, and attempted to reach out to likely torment me further. Truly the worst part of the state of life is the breach of trust within people I loved. I watched my own mother tell me she wished I was dead. I watched my own father tell me my mother may have never truly loved me. I watched the only woman I ever confided in tell everyone my deepest and darkest secrets to the world. I watched a man I trusted and cared for several years ignore me like I was the dirt on the bottom of his shoe. Men I've known for decades forget me like I was never anything to them. I watched adults paid to care about me look at me in complete and utter disgust. I watched this happen with no evidence at all but word from someone they had all only known for 3 months.